Good morning, guys. Pop Culture Minefield. Happy Saturday. Hope you brought your big bowl of cereal. Anyway, this is Keith.
That's Gary.
And we're here to talk about some nerdy nerd stuff.
And
we're going to be talking about Marvel today.
Hey, Saturday's a good time to do that.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Saturday morning cartoons. We're just going to talk about Marvel in general and what's going on. So, stick around after the credits because I think you'll enjoy this one. So, roll credits.
From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gary Kissel.
Hey, thanks for sticking around after the credits. So, what we're going to talk about today, as we said, is Marvel and what they're doing cinematically, because we know now that what was the X-Men legacy at Fox is over. And it went out with a whimper. It was really bad. And I'm not even going to bother seeing the movie. Not interested. I never have been interested. I saw the first trailer for it. And I went, looks like shit. They're rehashing a story they've already made.
Yeah,
they've already made a bad version of this with X3. So,
and what's really bad about this is this new movie, Dark Phoenix, which is the retelling of the Dark Phoenix or Phoenix
Jean Grey going into space and being taken over.
Yeah.
She dies and is taken over.
Yeah.
And revived by this entity.
Yeah.
And in this film version, it's portrayed by, what's her name? Chastain, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Jessica. Well, actually, she plays a different character. She's not really the Phoenix Force. But I will say this, what's really embarrassing is X3, which they had done before, which is their original, Fox's original intent of telling the story, might end up having made more money than even this version.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, because it was flawed from the very beginning. The de-aging process of Xavier and Magneto was just weird. They looked so weird.
Yeah, for the first movie.
Yeah.
Now, in this one, here's the thing that's kind of a little bit of a stretch, mistake, whatever you want to call it. So you've set the movie in the 1990s now. All of the characters have been X-Men for quite a while. You've got Xavier, you've got Magneto, and these two actors looking, you know, everybody loves them. I love them in these parts. You want to know what the biggest problem is?
What?
Both these characters are supposed to be in their 60s.
Yeah. By the 90s, they should be in their 60s. Because the first movie started in the 70s.
60s.
Or the 60s. 60s.
Early. So it's first movie was 1963. And the second movie was 1973. So then it's guessed that the next movie takes place in 1983. So, 10-year increment, so 1993, and yeah. And
they're supposed to be 30 years older.
Wow. Didn't even bother even...
Laura Schuller-Donner was not involved.
Yeah,
but still, her stupidity lingers.
It's amazing, really, that you're... The thing with Simon Kinberg is that X3 was really his debut in working on the X-Men. And he flipped it. So now all these years later, he gets another shot.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones as, what was the character's name? Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I love Vinnie Jones.
Yeah.
Terrible casting. Terrible prosthetic suit. It just looked, everything about that looked awful.
All of it was just not good. Look, I love the X-Men in the comics. I really do. And the X-Men films, the first two were great. It has been a mixed bag with all the other films that have come after it. And I know, you got people that like, oh, First Class was excellent. Again, I've said before, I'll say it again. That movie was only 1/3 of a good movie. The rest of it was just crap.
Yeah, which was the one that actually showed the Danger Room?
That was X3.
Yeah, it's like
and then
we've been waiting and wanting that.
And then Apocalypse. But to actually see the Danger Room in use was X3.
Yeah. I was so excited by that. It was like, oh, we're going to finally get to meet the Sentinels. And I was like, no, it's the Danger Room.
Yeah, and even the Sentinels that they had in X3
they weren't the Sentinels.
Were not the Sentinels that they ended up using by the time you got to Days of Future Past.
Oh, yeah. We can't even get into the continuity.
Continuity problems.
There's no continuity.
I mean, they don't even really reference what they did in the last movie with this movie.
They are as continuous in their storyline as the Evil Dead trilogy.
It's good. I did not think... You're right. It is.
Each film was its own film.
Yeah.
And had its own history. Except for X2 was kind of a good sequel to the first X, which you said. X1 and X2 were the better of that series.
And if you put Logan with it, it is a proper trilogy that has a beginning, middle, and end.
And we don't agree, I think, on this one, too, because I like the Wolverine. I really did. I felt it was a good adaptation of the comic as well as you were ever going to see. And it was the closest thing to an adaptation in the X-Men films.
Yeah.
The only one that was a really close approximation of what happened in the comic.
Yeah, and that movie had its own problems. I mean, when you have the director sort of, for whatever reason, can't come to sort of any agreement, and next thing you know, you got Richard Donner pretty much filming a good portion of that movie.
He ghost directed some of it.
Yeah, it was just like, at what
point?
But
it did, because it did well.
Yes.
It got that director back in the director's seat, and he, of course, makes Logan, which is Old Man Logan, kind of.
Yeah.
And it should have been, and I don't think this is just my opinion, I think you feel the same way, that should have been the end of the franchise. They should have just been done with it, because what they did after that was pointless and a waste of money.
Apocalypse was just awful.
It's just the dumbest thing I ever saw.
There was no other way to really, really quantify all of that. It was just a bad movie. Again, I enjoy all the actors. I have never personally had a problem with any of the actors. My problem's been with a lot of the attempts at trying to adapt these books into films. And again, even for all their problems, Warner Brothers has still done a better job than Fox did with what they had.
Yep.
And Warner's had problems. To me, I still don't understand all these people that are just hating on the fact that the MCU is going to get all this stuff. Look, I get it. Some of you out there, this is all that you've known. This version.
You grew up with this.
Yeah, this is what you know.
Of the X-Men.
And my only thing to you is, look, seriously, before you continue to just fly off the handle about, oh, they're going to mess it up, you're still paying good money to go see things like Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. And you love that. Kevin Feige's in charge. Trust me, he's not gonna mess this up. In fact, if all you know are the films, let me at least beg you to go to your favorite local comic shop and just start reading this stuff yourself straight from the comics. Trust me, it'll set you correct. As I keep saying, I got nothing against any of the actors that have ever appeared in any of these X-Men films. My problem has always been the writers and producers that have been in charge of these things haven't always had the best track record and the best intentions, in my opinion. Between Simon Kinberg, Laura Schuler Donner, and everyone else. Heck, even, look, there were two people that were actually the only people that worked to try to bring something that the comic book fans and regular off the street fans would want to see as far as an X-Men film. And ironically, both those people ended up leaving. Okay? Tom DeSanto, who was fired, and of course Kevin Feige. Now, both of those guys ended up doing some phenomenal stuff. Both those guys would go on immediately after leaving Fox to go on to help to bring to life two film series that helped the studios that they worked with make a lot of money. Everybody knows about Kevin Feige and the MCU, but Tom DeSanto was one of the people that helped set up Transformers for Paramount. And all those movies, even the really bad ones, made a lot more money than X-Men did.
Yep.
So, to me, I mean, Tom DeSanto, I think, stopped working for with the Transformers movies at least 2 to 3 movies before the last night. I'm still at a loss as to the reason why, you know, they didn't just pick up the phone and just go, "Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
why don't you come and help out with this?" Because originally, they actually did have a director for Dark Phoenix. Didn't work out with that guy. And you're going to give it to someone that's...
He had allegations made against him of sexual misconduct with young men.
You're going to give it to someone that's never directed anything. I mean, yeah, he's written things.
He wrote X3.
Yeah.
And so what does he do? He remakes X3. Because that's all Dark Phoenix is. And the decision making, I don't know who was in charge of this. They took the X-Men out of the title and just named it the Dark Phoenix. And it was one stupid mistake after another, snowballing until it got released in the theaters.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is a really dumb movie. I really hate this movie. It's so dumb.
Jennifer Lawrence has that look like she just cannot wait to cash that paycheck and get the F out.
Oh.
I mean, and
her version of Mystique, don't get me wrong, I love her as an actress. Yes. I like watching her. But she's really good, but that is not Mystique. I'm sorry. It's not Mystique. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Rebecca Romijn, that was Mystique. She played it correctly. But, oh well. Anyway, so now the high school kids are gone. Yeah. And now we're going to move back to the MCU. And of course, we've talked about this before. We are not going to see anything for the X-Men for a while because there are just too many characters. And they're going to have to, Feige and whoever else he puts in charge when he decides to leave, are going to have to make a decision what characters to open up with. And that's going to be a lot of work. So, what we will get before then, and we both said this and already before it was even big news, we said that they would launch with the Fantastic Four because it's 4 characters and 1 to 2 villains.
Yeah.
It's easy as pie.
Yeah. And right now the rumor is that they're looking at John Krasinski and his wife Emily Blunt to be Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
Casting.
And Liam Hemsworth from The Hunger Games.
I like him. I think he's not as good an actor as his brother.
Yeah.
But he's got presence. But you have an issue with him.
My only issue is I think you should cast a little younger to allow him to be... Is
he Susan's younger brother?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's the mistake that Fox made in having 2 actors who were close in age. Because in the comics... Sue and Johnny have a number of years apart. There's a reason why Sue acts the way towards Johnny that she does, because she is older. She is... And
he's a rebeller, he's always rebelling.
Yeah, he's a rich kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wealthy, and...
I'm going to go cause trouble.
Yeah, it's just... He's young. He is a younger man. And so he's right around... If I were to hazard a guess, at least from the comics, he's right around between the ages of 20 and 23. He's young. He's a young guy. Young.
While
So-
Liam is in his 30s.
Yeah. Again, I think you need to hire an actor who can,
Should be at least a decade younger than Susan. Yeah.
because he's gonna need to be making dumb mistakes like that. You know, the thing about having Chris Evans, who they originally cast, is that he and actress
Pretty girl that was told not to cry.
that's not
Don't
a name.
cry, it makes you ugly.
But the two of them were way too close in age. And in fact, in my opinion, he looks.
Susan
older
is
than-
closer in age with Reed Richards. You know? And
No. She is actually younger than Reed.
way to go, Reed.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Having an older man, younger woman, and if I were to, but in real life, Emily Blunt and John, they're closer in age, and you can make that work. It's just
It's an autumn-spring relationship.
and remember, we're talking the early 1960s, which is where the comic book came from.
I remember reading them. I remember The Mole Man.
Yeah,
Because Dr. Doom didn't come until later.
yeah.
And I loved the Mole Man. What a cool character. What do they call him in The Incredibles? The Underminer.
The Underminer.
And I also love the Venture Brothers' take on the Fantastic Four.
Oh man.
And Colbert plays the part of the Reed Richards character. Nails the voice. Always smoking a pipe.
Yeah, it is something that I think. Again, Fantastic Four is an easy group of characters to work with, and it's way easier than the X-Men. I think
You got to go out of your way to mess that whole story up.
Yeah, what studio would be dumb enough to mess up Fantastic Four once, twice, even 3 times? Who would be dumb enough to do that?
Fox!
You all right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
choked a little bit on that.
Okay.
Fox! Yeah, they just, because a lot of people are like, Gary, did you see the new Fantastic Four? Because my buddy Mac loved them. And I'm like, I hated it. I did not like it. I love the cast.
Yeah.
I thought the cast was great. Especially Ian, that played Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Really good actor. He's on Harrow now, his own series in
Mhm.
Australia. Love that show. I just think he's a great actor, and he was perfect as Reed Richards, but the directors, the writing, just really awful. And then, of course, the second film where they brought in
Silver Surfer.
the Silver Surfer and
The Cloud.
what is it? The character from the comics, the Planet Eater character.
Oh, that was Galactus.
Galactus
As a cloud.
as a cloud. You have a character that is a cloud, and it just was so badly conceived in. And I think one of the funniest, most laughable moments for me was Dr. Doom's voice.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother trying to augment it. It's just his voice. And it's so weird. You see this brooding character, and then you have this voice come out of it. Well, Reed. Silver Surfer was actually one of the few good things in the series.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
And I like that they didn't go CG and allowed Chickless to wear a suit.
Yeah.
And I did like that. And I thought the costume was actually pretty cool. I didn't like the thing in the next reboot. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
It just, nothing worked with that film at all. They were like, well, they just let the director, whatever his name is, Josh Trank. Is that his name, Josh Trank? The director? Was it Josh?
Yeah. For the newer version.
Yeah, if he had just been allowed to, no, everything about that stank.
Yeah.
Everything about that stank because you screw up the formula. If you're going to do a reboot, never mess with the formula. Always have that as your base
Mm-hmm.
and then build off
Well,
of it.
by then, Marvel had already left. That was the thing about working with Fox, is that they managed to piss off Marvel Comics. But at the same time, while I will give Fox a hard time because of Fantastic Four and X-Men. Had Fox not been just complete a-holes about their relationship with Marvel, we never would have gotten the MCU.
That's right.
We never would have had...
Avi Arad single-handedly set up what we got with the MCU.
Yeah.
But he resented not getting to be a part of it. And that's too bad, because Avi Arad, you're a prick. And that's deeply from both of us. We love you, Avi Arad. You're a prick. And we both feel the same way. That's one thing we agree on wholeheartedly. Avi Arad's a prick. And it started with the first Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because he screwed, what's his name, Roger Corman over.
Mm-hmm.
And was made all these promises to the cast and that we're going to do this while he was secretly making a deal with Fox. He's a prick.
Yeah.
So, anyway, with that, this is Keith.
That's Gary.
I hope you guys have a happy Saturday.
Remember, eat your cereal.
That's right. Drink the milk.
There
Don't leave it like our roommates do. My roommates say, John, Chance, drink your damn milk when you eat your cereal. Coming in there and seeing that bowl of sweet milk in that, it makes me just want to punch a baby. Happy Saturday, guys. And stick to the credits, and whatever you do, please, if you enjoy the show, click the like button, post a comment, let us know what you think, and subscribe, hit the bell, get updates. And with that, we're out of here. Get off the lawn. Roll credits. Get out of here.
Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description.